Right.
You haven't really written down questions for me. Oh my god.
I tried to take a sneak peek for you, but...
Oh no.
I haven't got a light to shine in your eyes. That's what worries me
Presumably
most.
you want short answers.
Well,
You don't want to be me to be online. I mean, just not even meant to be here at all.
no, but I'll tell you why I want you to answer, because a lot of people listening are people who are trying to come through. They're all getting their music played on here for the first time, and they're keen to learn from the master.
Oh, but that's bollocks.
It's not at all. Listen, you recommended me to the great Mike Reid. You know, he said, if there's a lady you want to speak to in this country, it's Helen Meissner. And
Actually, that's probably the nicest thing he's ever done for me.
Yeah.
Bless him.
No, he did. He was really complimentary about you. Oh, what a voice. We've been spoiled by voices tonight, what with Zoe as well. I mean, that really is quality. We've just been discussing about how difficult it is for some people who really genuinely dream of being able to sing, and for others it seems to be so effortless. But as Zoe reminded me, it comes from a lot of practice and a lot of hard work, and she's absolutely right, of course. Now, I've been a very naughty boy because we've got Helen Meissner with us in the studio this evening, and that's a real great pleasure and a great scoop for me because it makes me look really clever and important. But she really was very kind of giving Zoe a lift, and I've locked the door and tied her to the chair so she can't leave till she answers some questions. I couldn't find a light to shine in her eyes, but I'm sure she'll be fairly honest anyway. Hello, Helen.
Hello. I have been duped.
I know. Well, there you go. You know, life is like that. You see an opportunity, you have to take it. Don't you?
Well, that's true enough. I'm known for doing that.
No, but seriously, and I'm not saying it just because she's sitting here with me. I talk about Helen quite a lot on this programme because she very kindly keeps us supplied with quite a few CDs of the artists that she discovers, because she really is a true super support for so many acts out there who have gone on to great things because of her help and her help alone, I might say. So that's very much the truth. So Helen, welcome to my little programme. It's very good of you to be here. Thanks for agreeing to do a few questions for me. I've only got 48.
Oh no, I thought it was 10. That's bad enough.
Yeah, all right, we'll keep to 10. Okay, well, we'll start with a nice easy one, which even you can answer.
What, how do I pronounce my surname?
Well, go on then. Yeah, do I always get it wrong then?
No, you're the only person who's got it right consistently.
Really?
Well done.
Meissner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Is
good.
it of German origin?
Oh, don't worry about that.
Oh, because mine is. I just wondered out of interest.
Oh, all right then, yes.
Yeah, there you go. You see, well, that's probably why we've got some sort of affinity there, really.
Oh, is that the reason?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I normally talk double Dutch mostly, but there we are. I was introduced to Helen a couple of years ago when we were working on a project which is still ongoing. We're doing a pilot for a new series we're planning around the history of folk, and no less than Mike Reid said to me, the lady you need to speak to, who really knows all there is to know about this business and is really very helpful, is that wonderful, wonderful Helen Meissner. Meissner, sorry. And he put us in touch, and we went for a beer, didn't we?
Oh, yes.
We did. See, you forgot?
God,
That
I
was
had
our
actually.
first date 2 years ago.
Yeah, in the pool at Waterstone.
Yeah, once seen, instantly forgotten.
Haven't been back since. Memories just couldn't cope.
They wouldn't let us in again, would they? I think.
Yeah, moving on swiftly.
Anyway, that was a genuine introduction from Mike. He was sincerely thought it was a good thing for me.
He
and
was
it was indeed.
severely duped as well, because clearly
Yeah.
I'm not that person he thought I was.
Really?
Yes.
No. Well, we'll see now. Anyway, let me start with something simple. Tell us about Folkstock.
Oh. Folkstock was never meant to be, never part of my plan, never part of my life plan, but when my daughter, who's Lauren Deakin Davies, who is now the producer of the label Folkstock Records, showed a folkish tendency in the band she was in when she was 15.
Yep.
They were called the Folk.
Oh, right. That's
which,
a good name, isn't it?
Yeah, which meant that they started being invited to play at folk clubs. So when they turned up in very short shorts and all sorts of girlish 15-year-old outfits, they got quite a lot of looks. And they weren't really that folky, actually.
No.
But I realised there was a folk scene which I had never been aware of before. And when they moved on to bigger things, I had been managing them for about a year. When they moved on, I suddenly really missed the opportunity of seeing new acts and also helping someone. So I started the Folkstock Arts Foundation with a view to getting funding for this, where I would actually help 16 acts at 4 different stages of their careers with the marketing, positioning, branding that I'd been doing for the girls.
Right, because that was your background, wasn't it, originally?
Well, marketing and sales in businesses, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just applied it to music and found that it worked.
Uh-huh.
And So that's how it started, and then I thought I'd put on a festival to give them something to play at the end of the 6-month period.
Right.
And this was all, the help was all done for free because in the end I didn't get the funding, so I had to just
really? Wow.
help these 16 acts, I mean, who are all actually pretty fantastic, so I have no regrets. But the festival was meant to be for 16 acts, but it ended up being 77 over 4 stages in one day.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, so that's how Folkstock started, and that was September 2013, that was the festival.
Right.
And then I thought, oh, that's it after that. But then I met Kelly Oliver, and I felt she had something very special, which clearly she does, and I asked Lauren if she would brush up her GCSE music tech to record Kelly, because she had no recordings, and Lauren just found something that she was very good at.
Right.
She was already been doing it for herself as a fun thing, but she stepped up to the mic, as it were.
Yeah.
And so I started Folkstock Records in November 2013.
Right. So it really has been very organic, hasn't it, really?
Oh,
it wasn't intended, it's just grown naturally.
Yes, that is true.
That's amazing. But that's probably the best way to do most things, isn't it? Because it comes from the heart then, really, doesn't it? You're following a passion and putting your talents to to work in the right places. And, well, we've seen tell us about your stable, because that's what I'm getting to, really. I mean, we've seen how people have come through your handling. So who's to your credit, shall we say, over the years?
I think I've been part of a number of people's journeys. I mean, they've worked with other people, perhaps, or other people have helped them. So the thing with an independent folk music scene is it's about the people that put you on at gigs, people that like you who play them on radio stations. People like me, there aren't that many of us around because folk artists tend to be self-managing and self-promoting. They don't tend to use anyone else. So if an artist is on the label, then they get sort of a leg up where they might get exposure that they wouldn't otherwise have. But I suppose, I haven't brought the list with me, but I've had over 50 releases.
Wow.
And that includes albums, singles and EPs since 2013.
Right.
And the label was primarily set up to release Kelly Oliver to start with. Then I started working with a number of other acts. In fact, Zoe might have been one of the very early CDs with Pandora's Box, actually.
Right.
I think that was the second EP that Lauren recorded. Been a lot of acts that have come my way that I've been very proud to be associated with. I see you've got Sandtimer on the list for today.
Yes, I have,
which is a lovely Winchester-based duo or trio, depending on what day it is. But I've also been associated with a lot of female acts from the Hertfordshire area because I'm from there. And so Minnie Birch and Daria Coolish, Faye Brotherhood. I mean, there's a lot of acts that I've released on compilations, which I haven't sort of managed them, but I've just included them in various releases. And so there'll be lots of people that I will think I should have mentioned so-and-so and so-and-so, which I hopefully will in the next few minutes.
No, don't worry. It's always hard.
But but Kate Dimbleby was a very interesting one because I met her at Gabby Roslin's Radio London Sunday afternoon show, which is quite a riot, actually. And I really, it's a mad thing. It's like a studio this size with 15 people in it.
Really?
It's absolutely mad. and a piano. And Kate and I got on really well, and we kept in touch. And then she started posting stuff on Facebook of her own performances. And I said, have you written these songs? Do you want to record them? She said, oh, I don't know if they're good enough. I said, oh, they're good enough. Let's have a go. So that's how Lauren got to record Kate Dimbleby.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Again, just by chance, chance, really.
That's right.
It's fantastic. Well, as I say, we owe you, many of us owe you a great debt.
You're very kind. It's not
really.
true.
No, it is,
It's
because, as you say, I mean, there aren't many people out there who do get off their backsides to help other people. And it's surprising how, we can most do things ourselves these days. We've got social media, we've got all the things that we never had years ago. Life is a lot easier. Everybody can seem to produce a video these days and put an album out, record it in the bedroom, whatever. But it still needs an expert behind them to tell them when they're getting it wrong and to point them in the right direction. And you can't do it all yourself because you don't see your own faults, do you? I never see mine.
No,
I'm perfect in my Mary Poppins, me.
I think I've been very lucky, actually, in the artists that have come to me.
Yeah.
So I've had artists as far afield as Wales, North and South. So I've had Sarah, Sarah Owen from North Wales, and Danielle Lewis from South Wales.
Yeah.
And then Beth Ann Lees from Brighton, thereabouts. Marina
Well, they don't
Florence.
find you by mistake, do
Well,
they?
Marina Florence, you know,
Yeah, oh,
stunning.
fantastic.
You were going
loved her
waxing
to
lyrical
death.
about her,
Yeah,
weren't you?
absolutely.
Yeah, so she's Norwich based.
Right,
And
yeah.
there's Bella Gaffney in Yorkshire, the Blackguards
Yeah.
up in Cumbria.
Yeah, love his voice. He's got a great voice.
You know,
Great accent.
there's acts all over the place, and I have been very lucky. All I have to do is say, ooh, if I can't resist, I just have to do something.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. There's not really any money in it, but the
What,
enjoyment.
you're not a multi-millionaire living on an island somewhere?
Unfortunately not.
No. Well, this is what people don't realise, and I'm going to come to that point in a minute about what money's involved in music. And well, we're still looking, aren't we, Helen?
Oh yes, still digging that hole.
Right. I'm glad you're only going to give me short answers, because then these won't take very long.
Okay, good. Better stop asking me questions then, Trevor.
Not at all. No chance. We've got another 8 to go yet, or 7. What gets you up in the morning?
Well, I try and stay in bed as long as possible because I get screen eye. My eyes go red.
Right.
Because if I'm not careful, I'm on the computer from 6 a.m. until midnight.
Right.
So it's good if I've got a gig to go to or something like this to go to. So I from about 4, I'm like half an hour more, and at 6 I'm like, oh, all right then, because I've already thought of 3 or 4 things that I really, really want to do that I've forgotten about, that I didn't write on my to-do list the night before, and I'm just so excited, and I literally jump out of bed, get on the computer, and if I'm not careful, I don't get dressed till 3 o'clock, and then someone's knocking at the door, and they're like, okay, how come you're not dressed? I'm like, yeah, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. It's the excitement of it all.
But that's it, isn't it? That is, you're driven.
I'm afraid I am.
Yeah, well, I can understand that, definitely. Okay, this is a more complicated question, but I'm sure you can answer it very easily. I want you to tell me, what's the anatomy of a successful act? In other words, what do they have to bring to the table?
You wanted a
to
short
be a
answer,
success?
did you? Right.
Well, yeah.
Okay, it does boil down, from my point of view, and I think there's different markets, different elements, but from what I've noticed, the artist needs to be relatively open-minded to listen to the ideas of other people whilst retaining their authenticity. So they need to know what's important to them, what they are prepared to compromise on, and what they aren't. Right. That's really critical, because if someone's going to work with you, generally there's no money, and if someone's going to believe in you, they have to feel that there's some point in having an input.
Yeah.
So you need a dialogue, an open dialogue, and someone who is defensive and bristly over everything that isn't their own suggestion is unmanageable.
Yeah.
So there's that. Someone who is happy to be photographed and have media created about them and comfortable in front of a camera, whether it's a video camera or a still camera, it's very important. Someone who can keep relatively calm in live radio situations, or at least is prepared to try and do that, because you need as many routes to market as possible. So you need to be able to talk and perform flawlessly.
Yeah.
That's really, really important, because you've got to engender the confidence of anyone watching you. People have to want to get behind you. They have to believe you've got a vision and you're driven and that you're going to make it. Because they're not going to bother getting behind you if you're not going to make it. Because there's not many.
Not. It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So we haven't got much time to choose to listen to acts. So the ones we're going to support on social media or in any other way, we have to think, I've got a good chance of making it if they have the right support.
Right.
So there's those things. Then they've got to have a logo that's instantly recognisable at a glance, a biog that is truthful but amplifying what they are naturally, so it's all truthful, nothing fake, has to be real.
Playing to their strength.
But actually shows the distinguishing features between them and someone else.
Right. Very important.
Very important. And it's a bit of story that maybe the person hasn't realised is a story, but someone like me can say, well, actually that makes for interesting reading. Yeah. And that makes something that differentiates this artist from another artist.
Well, that's something I constantly say on here. When I ask for people to send me their work, I do say, send me something that I will instantly recognise and find something different about. I don't want cookie cutter music, because there are lots of people out there, especially young girls, there's lots of girls out there who can sing and play a guitar, but they all sound similar.
Well, this is why I haven't said
have
to be good. I haven't said that. You see, it goes without saying, a person has to be able to sing in tune, consistently live, that they are open to suggestion with production, because I'm executive producer for the label, so Lauren has all the ideas and everything, and I'll come and say which ones I want to go with, or I might let her go right to the end and say, well done. That's fantastic. I can't add anything to that.
Right.
But so the music has to be original, non-derivative, and ideally something that is very distinguishable for that person. So if they got all that, then hey, can't get in contact.
Not much, is it? Okay.
No. See, I'm very lucky with Zoe, aren't I?
I think you're phenomenally lucky with Zoe. So to sum that up, I know you've just given me a very good description of that, which is fantastic. Because, as I say, a lot of people listening to this programme are people who are starting out on a career, or more importantly, have been working at it for a long time, and they just can't.
It can be quite demoralising.
It can be, and as I say, you never give up, because it's when you give up that you're really going to fail. I mean, if you don't go that extra mile, you've got no chance, have you? So, I mean, what would you say is your one top tip for success? What's most important? What comes to your mind first of all? You've got to do this one thing.
Persistence.
You're right, absolutely, yeah. And believe in yourself, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, you said one. I could have picked two.
Okay, all right. Well, all right.
I'll give you that top five.
It's my show. Get up, shush. No, you're absolutely right, though. It's persistence. I quite agree.